is your experience? Because I know you didn't grow up you didn't immigrate here, right?
Right.
So what was it like growing up here as an Asian American?
Yeah, growing up as an Asian American, my childhood was happy. I'm an only child, so
That must be so nice.
yeah, having that layer added on with being ABC was quite the experience. My parents always challenged me to excel, and so I've had that mindset growing up. But my mother used to teach me Cantonese, so we would speak that when I was little. Now, unfortunately, I don't speak as much, but I would love to, carry that expertise of speaking another language onward in the future.
So what would you say makes you unique?
I think what makes me unique is I'm a really goal-oriented person and I'm driven. One example is I knew that I wanted to be in advertising right when I was going into high school as a senior. So I took that and I kind of pulled the reins and nosedived into college. I graduated with my bachelor's degree and a minor in marketing in 3 years.
Was it hard?
It was very hard. No summer breaks or anything like that. But it was the best experience I had because I was able to, really jump into advertising and do what I love. So tell me a happy memory you have growing up.
Do you mean in America or in Malaysia? Because I immigrated here when I was...
in Malaysia when you were little.
I think my fondest memory is making dumplings with my grandma. My grandmother, my ama, has this amazing recipe that I cannot find it, and I cannot imitate it. I need to ask her for the recipe, but of making dumplings. She has a specific way of doing it. But I remember just kneading out the dough and then cutting it into little circles. Mine would be very uneven, hers would be perfect. And we would fill it with meat and vegetables, and I didn't like the vegetable ones because as a kid I wasn't fond of vegetables. We would, and then seal it with like the fork and then put it into some sort of steamer. I didn't know how she did it, but I just know that it tasted really, really good, and that's a flavor that I associate with my childhood. So I'm just hoping in the next 5 years or so I'll be able to go back to Malaysia and recreate that experience with her, because it is something that I hold very fondly to my heart, and it makes me so emotional every time I talk about it.
It sounds delicious.
It is. I'd have to bring some for you on the way back if I get the chance to.
That's awesome. Tell me why you're unique as an individual.
I think sort of like you, I'm very self-driven, but I have a very lax attitude, as in my motto is, it is what it is. If I see a certain thing and I want to do it, I will put 110% effort into doing it, making it complete no matter what the result is. If it's difficult and I don't see any solution, think outside the box. There's always a way of completing that mission. And I think just having that lax attitude allows me to try more stuff, because even if I fail, I end up learning more about myself and about those around me. And I think that's something that makes me unique in a sense.
What did you do any sports as a kid? Because I know I didn't do any sports, but I'm not sure if most other Asian Americans do.
Yeah, growing up, I started taking dance lessons when I was 3 years old.
What type?
Tap, ballet, all the ranges. And then I think the December when I was 4, my grandma and grandfather took me downtown to Detroit's Campus Martius. They had a little ice skating rink outside, and immediately when my feet touched the ice, I fell in love with it. So I started not even a week after taking figure skating lessons. So I was a figure skater for about 18 years competitively, and I really enjoyed that experience because it made me challenge myself. And then a few years later, when I was a little older, I competed and did pairs figure skating, so that's with a partner.
Did you ever think about going like Olympic heavy on ice skating?
That is certainly every, I think, athlete's dream while they're training. I have some friends who have actually competed in the Olympics, so it's really cool to watch them on television. When I ended senior year of high school, I knew that advertising was my next big thing that I wanted to do, so I ended up retiring from it to just focus on school.
Do you think you'll let your kids do ice skating too?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. That's definitely in the books. Thinking about like 10 years from now, how do you see yourself as a person?
Well, I'm 18, so 10 years from now would be like when I'm 28-ish. I think, yeah. Of course, the aspiration is to become a defense attorney, but that is a long way to go. But that is my ultimate goal. But what I want to be realistically, I want to be happy. And not just happy in terms of doing what I love to do, but also happy as in I don't want to hate my life because I chose to go down a path that I didn't think was right from the very beginning. And being a defense attorney right now for me, I think that's the path for me. And I'm very passionate about the law and the Constitution, and that's something that I really want to focus on. So 10 years from now, I want to be happy. I want to be happy doing the things that I love to do, and just being with my family and my friends, being surrounded by this circle of sort of like a little bubble, and that's the ideal life that I want to live.
With or without a relationship, it doesn't really matter to me. All right.